In here 1 second. Do 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 do. In here 1 second. All right. Do 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 do. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So today we're going to be chopping that lumber and continuing our series on what's the deal with lumber. And today we're going to go over the Elliott wave count. So we're going to go over wave count on this one today, which should be fun. So before we get started, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Do 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 do. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off in the market today. And then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. And then we are going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX guys, monthly chart down 36 points here. I mean, kind of, we're still red here, right? So we just turned red on the month, so still staying red, down 36 points here today. Weekly chart getting a little bit sketchy, right? But we've got some time before this week is finished up here. So we've pushed back down on the RSI thanks to taking out last week's lows. The McClellan oscillator is still not below minus 100, so we're not too worried yet because, right, remember the last real pullback right here happened when the McClellan oscillator got minus 100, and then we came up again, but we stayed under 100, and then we flushed, right? So right now we're just kind of hanging out, so we're seeing how this thing goes. It's right now it's tough to put a wave count on this one. This is one of the ones our members came up with, and it's looking pretty interesting if we kind of dig into it a little bit deeper right here. I typically don't look at expanding triangles, because you don't see them too much, but it is possible here for a wave 4, where, if I kind of relabel this is your A, right, kind of B, C, D, E, right, and this still could be a bullish wave count. So it's very, very possible. Or, right, the amount that this pulled back right here took out our wave 2s, right, so it completely invalidates those waves. So it is possible that this is a truncated fifth, and basically the top, at least a temporary top, is in, and we could be looking at a larger pullback, right? So in other words, right, so this is basically like the end of like a kind of like a one. Sort of like a 1, 2. That wouldn't be it. It could be actually, but figure 1, 2, 3 like we had, 4, and then 5, right? Kind of finishing up here, and then a kind of a larger kind of corrective pattern right here. So if that is the case, right, that we if this is wave 4 or 5, then we're working on kind of an ABC. We really just have to see how it plays out, because at this point now we could be looking at some type of symmetry. If it is a pullback, either way, right, we're either bouncing here, and we might see a push up into tomorrow. It's decided to kind of get like an A, B, C type move. So we may still see a gap up, fill the gap, and kind of get going from there, or like we said, if that is the case, right, if this is a bullish wave, we can see a 1, 2, 3, right? So it's kind of a complex area of where we're at in this wave count. So we just got to see how it materializes right here. Again, it's tough to be super duper crazy bullish at these all-time highs, right? But our wave counts have been really, really good so far. So let's see how this one ends up playing out. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. 1 second. All right, cool. Make sure we got this up here. So let's go to the S&P futures here and take a look at what we looked at here today. So it's actually pretty amazing stuff. So yesterday was a really rough day, right? If you guys remember in the market. So it was market had a case of the Mondays, right? So it was just a big push yesterday, and once we kind of lost that 4,200 level, key level right here, we saw some more flushing into the end of the day, and then the flushing didn't stop going overnight, right? And it was actually pretty interesting when we were talking here last night. We looked at this bear flag, right? Just basically we were kind of wrapping up the session, and I basically drew it before we kind of wrapped up for the night, and then lo and behold, look at that, by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, this thing had really flushed below those levels, and it just couldn't get a rally. It couldn't catch a bid overnight, so it just stayed bearish and stayed below this geometric line for the majority of the evening. And so I'm not surprised today to see this type of chop. In fact, you guys will see. We were actually called for a potential dip by today, or at least warned for the potential dip by today. I wanted to be super bearish going into today, but so many key levels were being held that it was tough to really be convinced, right? Unless we started to see everything just start to sell off today. But we got an interesting move, right? So the first start of the day was an initial dip buy, right? We actually broke through the geometric level, and this gave us a good trade, right? It gave us a nice momentum trade to the upside. Then it gave us a doji reversal right here. You can see it on the 5-minute chart, and that gave us a nice downside trade. And then it gave us another upside trade, right? So we're looking for this type of volatile action. Why? Because the VIX was up again today, which is crazy, right? We got VIX back over 20, right? So a big move on that one. So we were expecting this going into today. The only thing that was a little bit annoying, but it's not so hard to believe after such a big move from yesterday and a big overnight move, is some chop. Right, we got a lot of chop into the close yesterday. So right now the future's down about 4 points. Right now it looks like we're continuing the chop into the rest of the evening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these Fibonacci numbers right here. I'm going to put the geometric line up, and let's take a look at this. We got this. Right, we got this off the doji right here. So we got a really kind of tight triangle right here going into the rest of the evening. So let's see how it holds. Like I said, we were down like 7 or 8 earlier before. Now we're down 4. So I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of pushed our way up and maybe even tried to test the highs going into tomorrow. So we'll see what type of action we get and where we end up then. So good stuff there. So anyway, guys, we're continuing our series this week on what's the deal with lumber. And yesterday we introduced the lumber futures. We kind of touched on a little bit how it's affecting different markets, why it's going up, because of the Corona crash and a lot of people leaving cities and going, building homes and just driving up the prices, right, of a lot of these type of home building commodities, right? And so lumber is one that was just specifically has been just ripping, right? So let's take a look at the wave count today. Let's take a look at that, and I'll show you where I'm kind of looking at it, that I think there actually may be some more upside on lumber. I would like to say that the top is in, but let's take a look at this here. So again, guys, remember to pull up the futures here in Thinkorswim. We just type in LBS, right, and the LBSN1 is what pulls up here. You can see we pulled back a little bit here today on lumber, and in fact, it wasn't a lot of price action here today, right? So we got about 100 contracts traded, which is so interesting on this, right? But one of the things that you can see here, if I pull this up, I'm going to take out this open interest and just kind of take a look at a straight wave count here. And so one of the things we can kind of look at, right, if we if you just kind of go back when this one started, this could kind of be like a wave 1, 2, and we can put the wave count there. I was thinking about starting this as 1, 2, and then kind of this ABC move here, but it's just as fine here, kind of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up right here. So 1, right, we could put a wave count right here, 2, right. So 2 right here, and then really, honestly, guys, I think this is wave 3. I think we're working on wave 4. So I'm still pretty bullish on lumber. I know it's crazy. It is possible that we see a big tumble right here, especially if the, for whatever reason, the top isn't in the market and the economy goes down and all that stuff. But right now, I think it is possible that this is just a wave 3 and we're working on a larger wave 4, right? And reasons are, right, because if you looked at this as wave 1, sub-wave 1, right, ABC wave 2, right, you can still count like some sub-waves in here. So here's your 1, right, here's your ABC 2, right, and then here's your 1, 2, right, 3, 4, 5. So you can kind of see that here, right? So you got this, right, 3. So you can count a subwave here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get wave 3. And at this point now, right, it looks like that we might be working on wave 4. Now, what's interesting about this, just like all Elliott wave and Fibonacci, is that when it pulls back right here, it might look like it's done, right, and then it ends up surprising you, right? So one of the things that we'd look at here is we go to 2. Right, and we go to 3, and we look for our 382 retrace. Okay, so that actually kind of brings it. What's interesting about this is it brings it back to these levels here, this 1200 level right here. So again, this might be a good time to go load up at Home Depot, right? And then maybe to load up on Home Depot, because for the potential, we'll talk about that a little bit more this week. But look at this for a potential wave 4 pullback here in lumber. If that is the case, right, then what that means is that we might get a little more upside in lumber. So here's your wave 4. Right, so look for some sort of ABC type pullback right here. So A, B, C type thing, and then we'll look for wave 5 up, right? So off of the 382, in that case, what we'd look for here is we'd look for a 618 extension. So let's see how far that, based on this wave count, let's see how far lumber might actually go. So let's get an extension tool on here. We'll go from the bottom of wave 2. We'll go to top of wave 3. We'll go to where we're projecting wave 4 bottom here at the 382. Right, and then we'll look at that right there, right at the 618. So let's take a look at this here, guys. This is it is a possibility that lumber could see 2,000, right? And if you you could do some time extensions on this one as well to see when it might get there. If this is the case, again, guys, this is just a where's my time extensions? There we go. So you can kind of go here, right? You can take it out to wave 3 right here and just kind of see where we finish, right? So 1.608. We might see it here in the at the end of the summer, right? Which is pretty much peak do-it-yourself time as well, right? So again, this is pretty accurate right here in terms of the Fibonacci's to see when we might kind of top right out here in in lumber. So definitely keep an eye on these levels right here. If that is the case, then wave 5 might be in, and that might be it for the lumber, and then we might see a larger corrective wave from there, and then we'll see where we go. But this is just all obviously Elliott wave, hypothetical, using Fibonacci's to see where this thing might go. But I think it's interesting to do, right, to see what the cost is, because lumber is expensive, guys. I mean, anybody wants to do anything, build a shed in the backyard, build a house, or just get some lumber for some work, some projects is, pretty expensive stuff, right? I mean, so it's nice to know when we might be able to catch a little bit of a dip buy on it, maybe get a little bit of relief when we're out going to buy some wood. So anyway, good stuff there, guys. That's lumber day 2 here as we covered the Elliott wave. Yesterday we talked about the futures itself. Today we put a wave count on it. And tomorrow we're going to take a look at some sympathy, and then we're going to take a look at maybe the impact on the overall real estate market. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we will get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So let me pull up the daily chart here. And let's see what we got. So good stuff, guys. Again, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shirley sent a few in via email. Shirley, hope you're doing great out there. She's got ELY, so Callaway Golf. Big move on this one today. It looks like we got earnings were yesterday after the close, and I guess they had a big beat. I guess everybody's still getting out there and playing some golf, right? So golf is like the natural social distancing sport, right? So good stuff there. So it's nice to see that give a good candle right here. Let's see if we can break over these highs, right? That's a good level of interest. If we can get over there, right, we might see a little bit of pop on this one. Now I've tried to trade ELY in the past couple years ago, on some setups, and I just remember it being very, very challenging with options. But see how it goes, right? The spreads aren't, and the spreads are a little bit funky, but see how it trades on that one. But nice, fine, beautiful chart on that. So good stuff there. Another one. Let's take a look at Triple D. So Triple D, guys, again, amazingly not as popular, in terms of like various streams today, but conversations. But this is one of our favorite ones going in today. Made the 15 orb list. I just really like the how much they beat, right? I mean, they really had a big beat on earnings, a good growth. I mean, everything, a good revenue, and they had a really good report on that one. And so today was just a nice push at the open right here. Beautiful retrace back to the 15 orb high. And you got that nice little finish here into the end of the day. So nice stuff there. Let's see if that can get over the 50-day moving average on 3D systems. So nice stuff there. Let's take a look at some of the materials, nice candle here too, very, very bullish. Obviously engulfing candle right here. There's actually a lot of bullish engulfing candles across the market today, right? So that was actually one of the very, very cool things that we saw today. So that kind of leads us to think that maybe we will get some more strength going into tomorrow. I mean, this is a lot of volume, a lot of bullish engulfing candles today, which could be interesting for the market. So we'll see how that goes going into tomorrow. And then Baxter International. Let's take a look at this one here. So again, woohoo! Big pullback right there. I know you might be leaning a little bit short on this one, but it's right to the 50-day moving average, like almost to the tick. So see if they try to buy it off of that's a big level of interest for institutions. So they might look at that and be like, oh, okay, well, I'll buy that at 50 days. So keep an eye on that for potential bounce. And then DLTR, let's take a look here. So DLTR again, same thing, right to the 50-day. Big pullback off of that one as well. It's a good find. It's awesome, Shirley. I really appreciate it. Otas, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Great stuff. That's great. Yeah, awesome. And you got BA. Fantastic. So let's take a look. So Boeing. This was an interesting one today. Ended up with a green candle here, but it still left that open gap. This makes it tough, right? Being under the 80 MA and a gap down, right, and not being able to fill it really quickly right here. So again, we talked about that potential for the symmetrical move down off of this candle, and maybe it got started here today. So let's see how that goes. It had some interesting price action intraday. Dropped off of our signal zone pretty early, and then bounced off of the next one. Just kind of chopped between the zones there into the end of the day. So that was kind of neat. Boeing Fedex. Let's take a look at this one. So Fedex, looking pretty good, guys. I was in the bubble report this morning on Paul's Bearish Trader. I was looking for a kind of a wave 4 pullback here. So nice drop this morning, holding on to the 80 MA. So let's see where that goes. You've also got Caterpillar. Let's take a look. Caterpillar with a very similar type pullback, possible evening star-ish type look to it. Let's keep an eye on it and see how it goes. Let me take a look here. Sorry, guys, I might switch charts here by mistake. Yeah, it could be. I would like to have seen a little bit more volume and a redder candle on this one, but keep an eye on it. Caterpillar, you have this triangle right here, which could be a wave 4 triangle top, kind of a retrace back to it. You can either really, really rip, or it's almost getting ready for a pullback. So a little bit of caution of that one. Let's take a look at X here. U.S. Steel marking the spot here with a another engulfing candle, right? So decent gap down off of the shooting star candle yesterday with increased volume, but again, right to the 80 MA and then a quick bounce back up again. And these base metal names, these steel, FCX, Alcoa, like all these names have just been so strong recently. So like kind of like the new thing. But good stuff there. Bullish, bearish trades. What's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for asking about the VIX. So this is good, guys. We actually started adding this to our Good Morning Market Prep videos, lunchtime, and the market wrap videos. And we look at it in our newsletter all the time. But sometimes you forget how important it is, right? And this can help with game plans. This kind of helped us with our game plan today. Looking for nice dip buys today is just how the volatility just started to surge today from where it was, right? We were under this huge prior support level here, which was becoming resistance. The fact that we gapped above it, I think, was unique and kind of special about the price action today, and definitely got us really looking and being like, okay, what's going on here with this VIX? So we're back over 20. Let's see if it holds. If it does, volatility might be back. I'd like to see it get over the cloud and get over the 200-day moving average, but that could be very, very interesting right there. But definitely gave us some insight into today's price action, right? So even when the volatility is high, it doesn't mean, right, that they're not going to buy the dip, right? And that's exactly what we thought today going into the open today. Very, very similar stuff to the Corona crash, right? So I mean, stuff was really, really super duper bearish, but because the volatility was so high, you had these huge ripping days. I mean, this crash it was such a tough crash, right? Because it wasn't just a bunch of red candles, right? Anytime anybody tried to buy the dip, the thing just ripped, right? And then it went back down again, and then it ripped. I mean, here, this candle right here, look at that. I mean, on the Q, 16-point range in one day, right? And then down 12 points, right? I mean, so amazing, amazing stuff. And then once the volatility started to calm down, it was like this. So we were expecting some action today, one way or the other. So volatility could still mean green. So cool stuff there. Tesla. So again, Tesla is one of the ones right off the rip that was just really, really strong. It didn't end up getting any follow through, right, to fill the gap. It actually missed it. Here's your open gap right here. Missed it by like 50 cents, but it was strong at the open, and that was the trade. A bunch of our members caught that this morning when we pointed out the relative strength going into today. That was pretty good. There's a bunch of names too. Amazon is another one, exactly. This is a good one as well. Very, very strong. A lot of strong dip buys to the open. Everything was like oversold going into the open, and then looking bullish pre-market. So that kind of really gave that strong. Okay, let's and plus that VIX being up there, yeah, let's get some volatility, right? So some nice pushes. So that was pretty cool. Good stuff on that. Yeah, bullish bears. Yeah, my pleasure. John, what's going on? Good to see you. Yo, let's take a look at PSX. Let's see how that's looking here. So PSX. So again, this is interesting, right? So we got the gas pipeline issues, gasoline pipeline issues. I mean, goodness, guys, people are like loading up on it, and like some states don't even have gasoline. So pretty interesting stuff there. With the PSX, right, just kind of keep an eye on it right here. It's interesting how it's not really pushing its way up. Maybe the market doesn't like the fact that the demand is increasing right here. Interesting pullback, could be a 1, 2, right, 3, 4 off of the 382, and we can see if it tries to work its way off there off of the 382. That could be interesting. So good stuff there. And then PM Philip Morris. Yeah, again, a lot of these non-durable goods, right, have been really, really strong recently. So a good push here, kind of a pullback here today. Bearish engulfing candle, right? It's a bearish engulfing candle, so definitely something to keep in mind as it is approaching 100. So good stuff there. Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at Apple. Apple, guys, there was some unusual call activity on this one today. We got that coming in our Discord today, and it was hard to ignore because there was so much of it. Right, and now this didn't have, I kind of tweeted out today. I was like, we're getting a lot of bullish call activity, but it's kind of like, it's not momentum type movement today. Really, really slow type stuff. But what a nice bounce today off of this geometric line, and I think it was also like, what was it, like the 200-day moving average right there. Perfect tag of the 200-day moving average for a bounce. So pretty cool stuff there, right? A lot of institutions look at the 50 and the 200. That's why I got them on here. The 80 MA is obviously important for trend, just make sure that you're following trend or not. And so good bounce right there. The real question is it going to get followed through and fill that gap? If it does, then that call activity could be pretty legit. So good stuff there. And then PLCE, let's take a look. Children's Place, nice. Hammer today, good candle, sitting on the 50-day. Lower shadow off of the cloud, a thin cloud right here. So good bounce there. Let's see if we can get back over the 8-day and maybe give a little bit of an earnings run. So good stuff. Nice find on that one too. Good stuff, Mike. Really appreciate you tuning in. Ollie Wally, what's going on? Good to see you. Fubo. I love it, guys. Look at this candle today. Look at this candle. Now, does this candle mean that it's going to be up into earnings? No, right? Earnings is a binary event, but goodness gracious, that's a bullish candle right there. Bullish engulfing with huge increasing volume. And look at this after hours. Have a nice day, right? So big move, and I think they missed. Didn't they like have a miss on earnings? Like, yeah, that was worse earnings than expected. But I think they had some news, like one of their guidance things, like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and then just, I mean, if you're a CEO for a company, it's just even if you lose money, you gotta hype it up. That's the best thing about. Elon back in the day, right? I mean, even when they were like just burning money, it was like he's like, yeah, but we're gonna sell more cars than you guys could ever imagine. And it's like, yeah, it's just so much fun anyway. BP, let's take a look. Another interesting one, right? So again, a lot of these gas companies or gasoline type companies kind of down today, which is pretty interesting. So we just have to see if the that demand helps to push these names up. So good stuff there, and of course CVX, right? Chevron, ExxonMobil, right? A couple of these names here could be interesting. Kind of rough days there, considering that there's people lining up to get the stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. GG, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at QS. So QS. So again, QuantumScape. The question is not how much they made. It's how much they lost, right? I mean, because it's a company that doesn't make money, right? The only thing they do is get like money from like Volkswagen to like do some research and stuff like that. But it's not like profit, right? Because they're not selling anything. But yeah, it's just kind of doing its thing, just chopping around after hours. Again, this is such a rough name. It had a lot of hype because of the SPAC and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, we're going to be a Volkswagen, make batteries, Tesla, right? And it's just like, no good, right? So maybe one day they'll come up with some really good news and it'll be great, and they'll be productive and actually start to make some, sell some stuff. We'll see where we go from there. But it's a little bit rough there. I wouldn't be surprised if it faded a little bit there too. So Mrs. Mosby, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Upstart. Yeah, so Upstart here with a nice push back into the range right here, right? So good volume today, and nice push after hours. So really nice push right there. Let's see if we can get over a couple of these levels right here. It's gonna be tough. Right, 107 is not really getting over any major turning points, right? So we may see a little bit of a fade on that one. This one was a big one last earnings, right? So it was like, yeah, right? But this one, it doesn't look like we're getting over any major levels. So it's a little bit of caution off of that. Path, let's take a look. Path, wow, look at that. Guys, like I said, there's a lot of bullish engulfing candles today. That is an epic one right there. Very nice find on that one. PLTR, I believe we just looked at. Yeah, so yeah, big engulfing candle on that one, right? And, just a nice push there. Big dip buy after earnings. SPCU was another one with a big dip buy after earnings, too. So good stuff there. And then the GLD. Yeah, let's say the gold. Amazingly enough, gold's strong, right? Hanging in there. It was gapping down this morning. Big dip buy on that one. I think they even filled the gap here, too. At least close, within pennies. So good stuff there. Nice find on those. Appreciate it, Ms. Mosby. Otas, what's going on? Do you still think SPY will fill the gap from the 4-1 short term? Let's take a look. So 4-1. So this gap over here, short term, tough call. Right, tough call. Right. So if that wave count that we've got, that expanding triangle, is a wave 4, then look out wave 5. Right now, if we start to break down below these levels, right, and we start to confirm with increased volume, yeah, certainly. But right now, this type of candle is this kind of no man's land, so we just have to really see what type of price action we get. And it looks like the future is about to turn green. So, again, today was a lot of strong dip buys today, so we might see some follow through going in tomorrow. How long it's going to hold, I don't know. But I would be more concerned about this cap short term, right? If we get strong tomorrow, we push above these levels, we get some volume coming in. Watch them try to fade that gap. That could be, or fill that gap. That could be an interesting one. So good stuff there. Krishna, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so you got Snap on the radar. How's that one doing? That was we've been tracking this one here with the golden zone pullback and then the 886. And it looks like we got a nice bullish engulfing candle here today. So increased volume would be nice, but it might, if it tries to push, we might get a push up to the 80 MA on that one. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Ford, good company. So but an upper shadow off of the 80 MA, so a little bit of caution there. And GM, another car maker right here too. Let's see how that one's looking. Similar, but red candle, right? So still below the 80 MA as well. So really just kind of chopping around in this range. I really want to see it get above, back in this channel and get some green days. So maybe it could try to work its way back up again, right? It's good stuff there. And then Disney, let's take a look. The Diz, earnings coming up this week. So let's see, again, still in this falling wedge-ish type pattern here. We've got it come in, Thursday after hours. So definitely something to keep an eye on there for Disney. Maybe they'll try a little earnings run, but it's just been kind of blah here recently. I will say for the record, I did resubscribe to Disney Plus. I unsubscribed because they raised prices. It's like you guys just reported record profits in your streaming service, and now you're raising prices, right? And you know, we don't watch a lot of stuff on there, so I just kept it because we watch Mandalorian, and I was like, oh, I'll just keep the subscription going. They're like, we're raising prices. Like, okay, well, I don't need it, right? And then they decided to come out with the Bad Batch, which is awesome. If anybody watches the Clone Wars, really cool new series on Disney Plus. So I ended up paying the extra $1 per month, and let's see how they do for that. If they keep coming up with good content, you know, we'll keep see how it goes. But anyway, good stuff there. Doonesbury, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. You got Intel. Thanks, Christian. I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, Doonesbury, Intel, guys. Interesting, right? So Doji. Right, so the real look at it. I did this doji reversal back down here, and now it's got another doji. So the real question is tomorrow. Now I think the semiconductors actually finished pretty well. Futures are green now, by the way, guys. We're over the 200-day moving average, flat 200-day. This could turn into a doji sandwich, but if we break down below the 200-day with increasing volume, right, doji reversal. If we break down below, it could be a doji sandwich down. So very interesting area for Intel. It needs to hold here, in my opinion. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at XOM. Again, same thing, right? Some of these pullbacks to the ADMA. The real question is, right, these people lining up for gas station, how long is this going to go? Right, a lot of 382 pullbacks on these oil names. Again, they've had a really nice run up, but it's kind of an interesting pullback there. And GG, yeah, plug. So this is a good one right here to look at, right? Because, you know, I mean, talk about potential interest, right, back into the electric vehicle sector with a gas crisis, right, a gasoline crisis, right? I mean, don't you think at this point now that everybody's going to get a little bit more interested? It's like, I don't think I like hoarding gasoline, not to mention paying for it, right? So, you know, maybe the electric vehicles are get going. So names like Plug, right, BLNK. Plug's a tough one, right? Because we were short here. We got short this day. It was awesome. We just love the increased volume below the ADMA, and we got short there. And talk about an overnight. Like that night they reported they had bad finance. It was such an epic gap down, and it's really just been kind of going down since then, right? So that's kind of a rough one, knowing that they've got bad books. But at least BLNK, right? This is another one here that's kind of interesting. Bounce off the 200-day moving average, right? So nice move there. And then CHPT, what is it? Charge point. Yeah, there's another one too to kind of keep an eye on as well. So again, this one's actually, you see these ones around. If you guys go to Whole Foods, they're just kind of sitting out there. You can charge up your electric vehicle, you know, that type of thing. So cool stuff there. Hi, AM Buzzy, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, doing great. Hope you're doing well too. Yeah, with PLTR, let's take a look at this one. Again, a lot of bullish engulfing candles today, right? And so this is just an epic dip buy here after earnings. Another one that had a huge dip buy after earnings on horrible earnings, right? It was SPCE actually ended up fading the gap, right? So nice move on that one. PLTR, again, a lot of bullish engulfing candles today. Could see some follow through in the market going into tomorrow, so we'll see how that holds. So good stuff there. NOK, let's say, how about all Nokia, right? So it's really a shame because this one actually got really busy, right, for the whole GameStonk thing, right? And which is really crazy because this one, it was funny because this one really ripped. And, you know, it's actually a pretty decent company, right? I mean, so a lot of 5G type stuff, right? And beat on earnings. And I think when they beat on earnings again, yeah, another beat on earnings, they gapped up. And it's just kind of, you know, hanging around $5. But, you know, it could be a long-term one. It's a penny stock. I'd really like to see it work its way back up and get over $10 to get the institutions back interested in it again. But we'll see where we go from there. So good stuff. Yeah. And Blackbear, here's another one, another meme name, right? So, again, this is an interesting one, too. Sometimes this one does move. You know, sometimes they try to do some innovative type stuff, but they've just been struggling out recently. It's kind of the old school name, but they do hang in there. So, again, really tight triangle range right here. Let's see if we can break out of that range one way or the other with some increasing volume. So, good stuff there. And Riot Keeper, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at tech. So big tech, right? So tech resource, another name right here, kind of minorish type name. So nice bounce here off the ADMA, right? So let's see if we can push over these days. And it's kind of a slippery hot dog pattern. Let's see if we can come back up and try to get to those highs. Good stuff on that one. So good stuff. Andrew, what's going on? Good to see you. Institutions pay a lot of attention to the 50 and the 100, or the 50 and the 200. Some say that like the 100 as well, but to me it puts like too much stuff on the chart, right? Like this probably bounced off of like the 100-day moving average here, but the 50 and the 200 are two of the biggest ones, right? That they just, I mean, a lot of people will swing only when price is bullish over the 50-day moving average, right? So I mean, just kind of look at it right here, like at tech. Right, so it's like, all right, here, we got over the 50-day moving average, just go long, right? And then, you know, if it gets back over the 80-day, you can get out of it, right? That type of thing. Oh, back over the 50-day moving average, go long. Oh, holding the 50-day moving average, go long. Oh, we're under the 50-day moving average. Get out. Oh, we're back over it. Go long. Right? You can see how it kind of adds up over time. Oh, we're under the 50-day moving average. Back over it. Go long. Right? So under the 50, back over the 50. Good. Go long. Right? So that type of thing. So 50-day is a really powerful one, and the 200 is usually kind of like the line in the sand, and it corresponds a lot with our 30 weekly moving average. Right? So those are very very similar lines. So another one to keep an eye on there too. So good. So Ryaki, your thoughts on the 13 over 30 indicator? You're talking about moving averages. Yeah, I mean, everybody uses different little tools. I mean, they're always going to be lagging what price is doing, but sometimes they can give you clues. Like a lot of times, here if some people like the 8 over the 21, 2 Fibonacci numbers, 13 over 30, whatever the case is. Whatever you like, whatever you back test and seems to hold for you, can be just a good sign to be like, hey, if it's if the 50s, a lot of some people use fib ribbons or moving average ribbons, whatever you like to use, can be a good tool. So good stuff there. But yeah, great stuff, guys. Awesome. Really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Tomorrow we're going to look at some sympathy ideas there for the lumber move. So I hope you guys are able to turn in tomorrow night as well. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. And whether you're new here or not, please hit the like button and the notification button. The like button, definitely, that goes a long way. I always appreciate that when we go back and see people giving us thumbs up. Really, really like that. So hope you guys have a great evening. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll be writing the bubble report early. And of course, we'll be here on YouTube for the Good Morning Market Prep video, and then in the Discord for our members. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys soon.